Hi everyone! I wanted to film a little bit back in my room today. I was going to make a video about tour today, and basically I just want to start out with saying that you may remember in 2014 I was studying abroad in Denmark and I made a video called like Women of Wizard Rock or something. I basically was just talking about how after a lot of YouTube abuse scandals were kind of written about, how I found comfort in thinking about how my first introductions to Wizard Rock were from women, and that the women in the community really inspired me the most. That was when I had done 2 tours. I had been on the road with the Butterbeer Experience, and then 2 years later in 2012, I toured with Tonks and the Oars, the Whopping Willows, Lauren Fairweather, Justin Finch Fletchley, the Sugar Quills, and Snidget. That really, it did get me through thinking about how the women who I found in the beginning of Wizard Rock on MySpace really like made the movement for me. And when I thought about Wizard Rock, I thought of them and not of like these guys that kind of own the community, which fortunately they don't anymore. Since I made that video, I've been on 3 tours with Tonks and the Oars. So these past few years, 2014, 2015, and then this like a month ago, in 2016, we did the Yes All Witches tours. And those have literally, like, I'm about to get real sappy here, but those have literally changed my life. If I thought it was, you know, inspiring to get into Wizard Rock because of the women that I saw doing their own thing and being independent and making their own music, then this is like that times 1,000 million billion bajillion trillion. I got to be a part of it, and the Ridiculous tour in 2012 was such a step up from the tour I had done before. I mean, it just seemed so like, kind of like a little festival and a little like, you know, on the road with friends. And when I had first gone out, I was so nervous and so anxious, and I was at a really bad point in my life. And that was still when I was figuring things out about myself and my sexuality. That was like 2010, and I've come so far since then. I was 16 then, and now I'm 23, and I'm still enjoying the hell out of these tours, and I always say they're my favorite part of the year. This year, that's 2 times of the year, and like I want to cry. Like, I'm so excited that I get to go out twice in the same year on tour with the 2 women that I admire the most probably in the world, because they have just done so much, not only for me but for all types of Wizard Rock fans and just anybody who's like stumbled into a concert or just found them on the internet and has seen in the face of like all the YouTube sexual abuse and scandals and stuff like that, that there are still women who just, not that they don't care about it, but they will just keep going and they just persevere regardless. And it's important to discuss that stuff, but it's also important to just keep doing your own thing regardless of what anyone might be thinking about your reaction to what's been going on. Because that's what I noticed through my tour mates, Steph and Monica. Like, they could write 1,000 words about what happened, but I think what they've done with Yes All Witches and just continuing to promote feminist Wizard Rock and literacy and doing your own thing, I just feel like the tours we have done have changed not only our lives and how we view ourselves as musicians, but also like anybody who might come and see the show and maybe who are like worried that someone who is performing wouldn't address what has happened. But just the very sentiment of Yes All Witches is taking back the spot in the fandom that was once reserved in some people's minds for the men on top. And now I feel like we're on top, and not in a way that they were. I feel like we're on top in the sense that we kind of have the loudest voices, and that's more important than any type of wrongdoing that the men in our community may have done. And that's why I feel like it's not just a tour, it's not just like going out on the road and like singing with your best friends, even though that's the most beautiful part of it, but I feel like it means so much to people we may not even realize. I mean, the kind of responses we've gotten about like my queer music kind of reaching out to people who may not have realized they were queer before, or they knew but they were like insecure about it, and that's why I do it. And I know Steph puts a lot of feminism in her lyrics, and that is amazing, and it's so important for young girls and young people of any gender to see and hear that. And also just being able to rock out with it. Like, it's not just a blog post, it's like an interactive experience, and that is why I keep going out on the road, and that's why I'm just so proud to say that these women are my friends. And I know this is sappy as hell. I'm like the most sappy person ever. In fact, I just filled a whole memory box of tour memories. Like things that I've collected on the road. But being on tour is just the most amazing thing I've ever signed up to in my life, and honestly it's become so normal for me that when I tell people that, such as my employers, like saying I'm gonna ask off for like 3 weeks to go on the road and like drive to Orlando, they're always like, this is so like once in a lifetime, like you are so lucky to be able to do this. And I'm like, I know, like I know these people, I listened to them in high school and I was like getting ready to like catch the bus, and I'd be like blasting some Tongues in the Oars, and like it just kind of blows my mind sometimes how far I have come, and it's because of this music. Like, this music inspired me to speak out and to introduce myself to people. Like, when I first met Lauren Fairweather, she was like, oh, I recognize you from YouTube, and I just was like, kind of like the gif of Homer Simpson in the bushes. Like, I just literally just about literally ran away because I was so, like, I was like 13, and like I was just not used to any of that, and I had never met anyone in the fandom like in real life, and now I feel like I'm a part of it, and it is so beautiful. A lot of people will say like, you play queer music, so is that hard when you're traveling south? And for me, it hasn't been. I think in the past, my own fear of playing this music has been greater than any type of audience response that has been negative, which has not been hardly anything at all. And going further south and playing those songs just reminds me and makes me literally see that there are queer people in those states. They exist. We exist everywhere. And all types of queer people, whether rural, urban, or what have you, need to hear the sentiment that you're not alone and your favorite characters can be like you, and there's nothing wrong with that. So if anything, touring south has just opened my mind further to the fact that people everywhere, feminists and girls and people of all genders who haven't really heard many positive things about feminism, need to hear this too. And a lot of people also ask me, how is this beneficial to you? Like, what do you get out of this? Don't you lose money going on such a long tour? I don't lose money. I create my own, I pay to create my own merchandise, and that's where I spend most of my money for tours, like just kind of making sure that every tour I have something fresh and new to sell. We have venues that pay us to present and perform, and this year actually we're asking for a little bit of help with that. We are touring out to LA for LeakyCon in October and touring back. And so Steph has created a fundraiser on Kickstarter, and that is going to fund us our gas on the way out and back, because it's a long drive between states and we're used to the East Coast, but this is my first time driving west, and like all the way. So that's gonna be so exciting, and like I've just been gearing up. I'm like, bring it on. You can check out the link. I will put it here and in the description, and basically you can get all kinds of rewards. I will write a song for you. I will make an art piece for you. I'll write a fan fiction for you. I'll read something for you. Steph will teach you guitar lessons or any like teaching session you want on Skype, and then we have postcards and emails, and we have like live performances and like the live streaming. So I think it has just become such a group effort, even though it's only 3 people that go out on this tour consistently. We invite others to join us, and it just seems like such a nice little community, and one that we can remind ourselves at least once a year that it exists, and we're still thriving, even though people might say Wizard Rock is dead, because I feel like the main male figures of it are no longer the main voices. And that is something that my little 13-year-old heart, when I got into Wizard Rock, was just waiting for. Like, why aren't these women being presented as headliners, why not? So check out our Kickstarter, share it with your friends, share this video, share the sap, and I love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye!